I am live and I am late and I'm going to go post this and then we're going to get started. So if you are watching the video of this, you need to fast forward about, let's call it 2 minutes, and then we'll get started on this song. I have had a crazy day and I am so far behind. And we're going to get it all fixed up right now. There's this shift. Posting the link on our website, jollyrogerukulele.com. Go over there and pick up this song sheet from there. Update. All right, let's see if I got this link in here correctly, and then we'll know it's it'll be time to rock. Let's see. Let's go to the view page. And those of you guys logging in, let me know if the sound is good. I did not check it because I'm so far behind today. So I'm hoping. We got it close. All right, I'm all blurry. Yeah, I'll have to change it. I didn't shave. My gosh, I'm a mess. Let's see. Hey, Valerie. Chicago, but they tried to blow Chicago off the map, but Valerie made it through. Look at holy mackerel, what a mess. Hey, Laurel. It feels like it's every day right at the moment. So, hey, Vic, good to see you. I have been dealing with some stuff here today, so we're going to have what I call crazy day, and we'll get through it one way or another. And hey, Lanny, welcome in. Renee, checking in from Lakewood. Evelyn in from Ecuador. Five pages. We'll talk about it. I agree, right? Gary and Diane are in from Indiana. Indiana, right? There's Illinois. It's Illinois. God dang it. From the middle of the country in a state that starts with I, right? That's where they are at. So good to see you guys. Lynn is in from New Jersey. We tried to wipe New Jersey off the map a couple weeks ago, right? With that storm that came through. I'm going to get haven't got any of my electronics up and running yet. So give me just a second. I'm going to get all that. Pedal is connected. We're going to need the pedal, right? 5 pages to get through today. And I'll tell you what, guys, all of the chaos and conundrum I've been dealing with here. Let me get my thing downloaded quickly here. Who else is logging in? Phyllis is in from Canada. Vicky is in. Hey, Vicky, Vicky's back. Hey, Vicky, welcome in from Bozeman. She was out camping a couple weeks ago, last week, I think. Jack and Barbara are in today, ready for the latest adventure. The hits just keep coming. Yes, the hits keep coming. Adnell, West Coast, holding down the fort out there. We're watching the annual lighting of the California. It is so scary out there. I hope you are nowhere near the fires that are going on. They look positively terrible. And so, Adnell, I'm glad you're here. Carol in from warm and sunny Nathrop. It's up. She's up there in the mountains of Colorado, and so far those have been a little iffy to be living in as well. Hey, Fran's had fires all over the place down by where she lives. My gosh, it's been a tough year for all of you guys. Red and I are doing great. We are in tall cotton here in the city, except for having way too many social issues affecting us. We're doing great, right? Let's see. So that's where that needs to be. And then I got to go back to the cloud. And then it's Sound of Silence we got to download. Did you guys see it? It's 5 pages long. It's too long. Sound of Silence. Ukulele. Click. Download. Okay. All right. We'll see if it's okay, right? Okay, and we get out of this little window, and we go to this little window, and we go to storage, we go to downloads, and then we go to ukulele, and then we scroll all the way over to Sound of Silence. And we're going to get everybody up and running today. I apologize, I'm a total mess here today. So we'll get it straightened up. Gary is in from Vancouver, almost in Portland, right? Hope things have settled down in Portland a little bit. The news hasn't been covered as much, so hopefully things are settled down up there a little bit. Hey, Patty, welcome in. Burke is here. Burke is on board. Hey, Pauline, good to see you. Terry is in from Denver. Kat, hey Kat, I heard you got a little rain down there. On the news this morning, they said that they had people in boats going down the main street of town. So hopefully you are avoiding most of that. Hey Renee, it's five. It's one page, but it just repeats 6 times. That's what's going on with Sound of Silence, and we'll talk about that. You're absolutely right, Renee. It's not near the challenging song. That there's one thing that's super challenging about it. It's almost not playable, I would say. Other than that, this thing is actually going to be something that you can tackle. So looking forward to our harmonica class. You've been practicing spoons, and we need to do that thing where you stick it in your mouth and poing, 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 poing. What is those called? I don't even know what those are called. We need to do that. I need to start lessons for those too, right? Whatever weird instrument that fits in your pocket, I'm into. I'm totally into all that stuff. I think those are awesome. Diane, I know 5 pages. I'm sorry. Hey, Lindy. All right, let's talk about this piece of music. Let's talk about me. Let's talk about Gary, right? That's normally what we need to talk about. And I will tell you that I feel like today is the worst day that I have ever had since March 20th in terms of being prepared for you guys today. And I apologize. I says, hey, send me the list of names of songs you want to do from Simon and Garfunkel. And you all were very dutiful. And what you basically did is I think you all sat down and talked to one another and said, let's say every single song that Simon and Garfunkel have ever made, and then just one. We'll vote for every song, and then we'll leave it at that. And so basically, every single song they've ever done, you guys want to do on one level or another, but nobody wants to do the same song. So it did come up. We had 3 votes for what is it called? El Condor Pasa. To be perfectly honest, I sort of knew that song, but not really. It would definitely not have been my first choice, but it was your first choice. So I had lots of votes for one of all these other things, a couple of votes for a couple of the songs, and then 3 votes for El Condor Pasa, put it over the top. So my intention was to sit down last night, write it out, and have it ready for you and be part of our day today. Things around my building here, have been a little crazy, and it's absolutely insane what's going on. So I ran out of time. So I'm going to get it together tonight. I'll have it for you tomorrow. I do apologize. So there's step 1. Number 2, stuff is going on here at the building, and I did not have time to shave. I barely had time to do this. I'm logging in late, the whole thing. It's all crazy. We're going to be fine. So we only have 1 song today. We're going to work it to death, and by the time you walk out of here, you're going to be like, I don't know if I like Gary anymore. And I'm going to go listen to somebody else about ukulele for a while. Don't do that. I actually, it turns out that once you're here and once you know how to do this, you're going to have a hard time, right? You end up sort of stuck needing to hang out with me. And that's why we want to continue to work with you guys about having you develop your own tough uke arrangements so that eventually you'd be like, Gary, he's never prepared for anything. So a Jew's harp, that's the name of it. That thing you put in your mouth, dung, 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 it's called a Jew's harp. That's a crazy name for it, but that's what they call it. Or a jaw harp, I like that better. Mouth harp, I like that. Christine could not pronounce Condor Pasa for today's class. No, you cannot pronounce Condor Pasa for today's class because right at the moment, Condor Pasa is in my head, okay? And I will get it figured out. Kalimba, yeah, these guys. I own one of those. Just absolutely adorable. There's a young lady on YouTube that's taken it fairly seriously and is giving you I don't know if lessons necessarily. It's not one of those instruments where you really need lessons. There's really only one thing to do on that. But she's been putting up a bunch of songs that she's been working on there. So you might go check it out. That's one of those instruments that's $50 for, a pretty nice one, the 17 key one. And you can just sit there in the evenings and plink out little tunes, just by ear. It's a really a wonderful instrument. So they're called a kalimba. And nose flute. Somebody gave me a nose flute last year. I never took it out of the package, but yeah. Let's see, Lenny, the best! Exclamation point, Jim. I look fine. I look a mess. Thank you, Jennifer. You're very kind. There's this thing called shaving. I'm supposed to do it every day. I get it done about every 3rd day. So, watch the recording. Okay. Valerie, send me a note that you didn't get the email. Several of you did not get the email, and I definitely know that if you've gotten them before, you should have gotten that one. So check your spam settings and all of that stuff. And the one I sent out last night was epic. It was super long, so maybe you just thought that's too long of an email. You guys don't really need it. Let's see. How do you tune it once the kalimba is off? You have to. You take and slide those tines up and back inside of the, they're bolted down here. You have to take a pair of pliers and pull it either a little bit forward or push it a little bit back. That's how you tune a kalimba. Really sounds cool. Oh yeah, the acoustic. Yeah, plug one in. They're cool. All right, let's talk ukulele. This is not kalimba class yet. It will probably turn into that eventually. So what we're doing is Sound of Silence. Now, here's the thing. This is sort of their signature piece. Not every band, but lots of bands like to have the signature piece. Led Zeppelin has Stairway to Heaven, Hotel California for the Eagles. This is the long, big, fancy, deep ballady type song that Simon and Garfunkel did back in 1964, which is the year I was born. How about that? And look at what happened to them, and look at what happened to me. It's just all downhill from Sound of 64. This piece of music goes on and on and on, but if you had a chance to look through it a little bit, it's the same thing 6 times. Okay. The problem is I can't just put a repeat at the end of it and have it go back over, because like the Beatles, and like most modern performers, they change it a little bit each time they go through a verse. They change it just enough where it's hard to put it into notation. And so because this song is relatively well known, and because a lot of times I'll take a song and manhandle it to fit it onto 2 pages, because I just feel like it's not that important to get every single thing exactly the way it's supposed to be. Some of these songs, some of you grew up in this era, some of you, this band's pretty darn important to you, and certain songs are pretty important, so I don't feel like I can always just sort of be like, fix them. Eric Clapton, I will fix, because Eric Clapton he's ridiculous, right? So I just go through and I line up his beats so that they're correct and all this stuff. But this song doesn't work that way necessarily. And I wanted to have it where it was pretty much, you can definitely play from top to bottom, more or less exactly like it was sung. And you'll end up with a pretty nice piece of music. And so that's why it's as long as it is. It just does not lend itself to just putting in a repeat and going back over it, because they change each verse just enough to mess you up. So that's step 1. So that's why it's 5 pages. And as we go through it today, we will stop and take a moment for you to turn the page. So don't worry about getting them all lined up across your kitchen. We'll do 2 pages, then we'll stop, we'll turn the page, we'll do 2 more pages, and so on. If it's a 1-page turn, I think it's okay. But when you get to the second one, I'm like, I probably ought to be nicer. The second thing I need you to pay attention to, and this is a musical thing that's important as you become a more experienced player. The very first word at the very top, in the very left, the word rubato. Okay, now here's the official definition of rubato is, hey, don't be overly strict in the time. Just make sure that you keep it in time. Okay, so it's a definition that makes no sense. You don't need to worry about the timing, but just make sure you keep it in time. And so rubato has this sense of within each measure, you can kind of fool around with the timing just a little bit. I want you to take rubato here for what I really mean for you here is whatever you hear in your head, that's how you should be playing it. I tried to lay this out, and I did listen to the recording. I clicked play on Simon and Garfunkel and then watched my sheet music going along. It is word for word, pretty close note for note what they did. So it's all here, but it's not, because they're professional singers and they're really good at it, they don't necessarily have to keep everything neat and orderly in time like we like as instrumentalists. And so they'll go over measures, they'll start early, they start a little late, so it's close, okay? That means that you, if you like this song, have the opportunity to sort of mess around with the timing a little bit and not worry about that too much. And so make it sound like you want it to sound. That's what I mean by the rubato designation here. there is you do not need to be, and I know a handful of you are well-trained musicians, right? I'm looking at you, Diane. Not that Diane, the other Diane. When we get well-trained musicians and they see eighth notes, they expect that note to be last a half of a beat. And for the most part it does, but not exactly, right? So hello darkness, my old friend, right? That old gets pulled a little bit longer than an eighth note. And so just let yourself have fun with that and don't worry overly much about the timing. When we're playing here together, you may or may not be right on with me, and that's okay. Second piece, third piece, whatever piece I'm on. Let's go to measure 7. We have to talk. Measure 7 is going to come up over and over and over, and it's a bummer every time, and it is going to mess you up, okay? And it's going to mess you up because what they sing in the piece and what they sing in and what's on the paper are significantly different, but I'm going to tell you why I put it here and why it makes sense for us as ukulele players, not necessarily sense for Simon, okay? What are you guys talking about over here in the chat room? How do you tune out when kalimba is off? My kalimba, okay, kalimba. Oh yeah, that's what the hammer is for on that kalimba. Is you pound your little thing to adjust it. Eric Clapton week, maybe Eric Clapton week. I only have 2 songs of his arranged, but they're both amazing, right? And so yeah, we might do an Eric Clapton week. Actually, I have 3 now that I think about it. I have Wonderful Tonight, Layla, and what's the big one? You know, the other one, Tears in Heaven. So I have those 3. So shoot, all I gotta do is get one more, and we'll have Eric Clapton week. Let's talk about measure 7. Okay, so the chords you're going to need is a bar on 10, and then the F shape in front of it. Okay, creep, creep. Okay, not so hard. That part you can do. Okay, bar on 10, F shape in front. Okay, that's what's happening at the beginning of 7. The problem is that it then goes to this crazy B flat. Okay, we've done this crazy B flat before, but you're not gonna like it. So what I need you to do, don't change this. You just slide it down to 5. Here's 5. Okay, and add your pinky on to the 8. Okay, so what we're gonna get is creeping. Let me do it again. Okay, creep. Okay, and that's going to be the hard part. Here is the simple solution. Okay, I want you, if you like Simon and Garfunkel and you like this song, I want you to do this part. That's what I want you to do. If this song is just okay to you and you enjoy and it's fine and it's just one of many other songs that you're playing, I want you to play 10, 8. Okay, so just jump up, look at the melody, play the 10 and the 8, and not lose sleep over it. It does sound awesome if you can get this E flat in here, and then follow it up with the B flat, pinky on 8. Okay. What you get, what's interesting in watching a couple of live videos of Simon and Garfunkel doing this, Paul's job is to play an E flat and a B flat, right? He's a different key, but that's basic. He's just playing basic open chords there. But because they're great singers, they're way the heck up into the next octave. And so that unfortunately presents a real challenge for us on ukulele in that this song barely fits on the ukulele, right? You're gonna go to the 10, slide down, same shape. Don't make any changes in the shape, just slide it down and then add your pinky on here at 8. That's what you're working on there. That will be a project that's probably going to take you a month to get that right. Okay, we're going to do it today. I'm not going to get it right either. I was working on it last night. I haven't had enough time on it. Let's see, San Francisco Bay Blues by Eric. Oh, okay, all right. So now we'll talk Eric Clapton for a minute. Hey, Christy, welcome in. Now. That's measure 7. Okay, if that's going to be too hard for you, 10, 8, and that's perfectly fine as well. You just lose the chord. I wouldn't lose sleep over it because your next chord is a B flat anyway, and you're going to have to get that thing over and going on. But that motion happens over and over and over. Okay, next piece about that, in every single case when that is coming up, they hold the note right before that too long, and then they do this little E flat, B flat move in quarter notes. Okay, so in this case, in measure 6, what they really sing is because a vision softly creeping. Okay, so they pull the Lee all the way over into the next measure and then do creeping real fast. The problem with that is they also, the chord hits in the middle of as they are pulling that through. This is very common with really high quality singers, is they will pull a note right over into the next measure on purpose while that chord happens underneath them, and then they'll finish up, right? Those of us who are terrible singers, we got no hope of doing that, but a good singer can start early or even come in late. They do it all of the time. Drives us bananas as instrumentalists, but we got to have faith they know what they're doing, and in this case they absolutely do, and it happens. And every single time this comes up, dun 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 dun. Okay, so what's on the paper here is good for you to think instrumentally, but also be aware that's where that rubato comes in. So if I was playing this, because of vision softly, and then I've got plenty of time now to go. Okay, I didn't do it right. Okay, so once you get creep on, probably go fairly quickly from creep-ing, and so the reason I wrote it this way is I sure could have pulled the note over, it tied it over from the previous measure, but it makes doing the chording really incorrect. And because we are playing this as a soloist, we got to clean that up just a little bit. So I haven't simplified the music. I'm just making sure you understand that it really can't be played the way it's sung and played instrumentally. When we only have an instrument to do that, we're going to just sort of simplify. We're going to clean up those beats, and then you as the player can say, hey, I'm going to pull that previous 8 just a little bit longer. Okay, and then try to do the 10 and the 8 a little bit more quickly. And I think you'll feel that adjustment as we go along. And so, that comes up, I believe, 5 other times in this piece. Measure 23, it happens. A version of it happens at measure 25. Measure 39, measure 41. So it's going to come up quite a bit where you're going to have this moment where you're going to pull the melody through as best you can, whatever way that you can, and then you drop in those 2 chords as quickly as you can. I don't go too fast because then they sound weird, staccato. But dumb, and don't worry overly that it might sound a little different than the original. The final thing I want to say about this before we start playing is there's a new version of this out. If you type in Sound of Silence into YouTube, Simon and Garfunkel come up second. Okay? That tells you how good number 1 is, and it's by a heavy metal band called Disturbed. And to my way of thinking, as I'm listening to the Disturbed version and the Simon and Garfunkel version, Disturbed does a better job with it than Simon and Garfunkel do it. I think they get it right. I think they get the idea behind the song. Now, you got to be ready for some heavy metal, but it's not a bad idea to go listen to it. Starts off very solemn and very quiet, and by the end, the whole thing's out of control, serious metal. The guy who sings it has an incredible voice. I don't know his name. But you got to go listen to that, because at least in part, your version is influenced by that version, because I really like it a lot. And I did spend some time checking their chords and checking Simon and Garfunkel's chords to get you your final version here. So the piece that you have is obviously set up for ukulele solo, not for heavy metal or even for Simon and Garfunkel, who are way better singers than your ukulele will ever be, right? And so you've got a lot of stuff going on here. The big thing is if you like the song, make it your own. Be patient with that one little hard thing that you have to do. Know that it is not exactly the way that they sing it, and that you can make adjustments to that so that it's going to come in nice for you. Okay, so first of all, let's just run through the chords. They repeat over and over and over, so let's make sure you know them. them all. Okay, you got a G minor. Okay, and we've talked about this a day or two ago. This is one of my favorite minor chords on ukulele. It's just beautiful. Right? Sounds dark, sounds sad. Okay, sounds just like you would want a minor chord to sound, just beautiful and deep. You got your G. If you have low G, you got this heavy string up here. It sounds even cooler. Right, on high G, there's still that doggone happiness that you can't get out of a ukulele, but it's also got a nice depth of darkness in there, and it really sets up nice for us. Okay, then again, as we talked about earlier this week, I think it was Scarborough Fair. The next chord on this one is right here. Okay, right, and then we go back to G minor. The other two chords that come up are your E flat. Okay, so from G minor, your E flat is just right there, right? So that's nice. Okay, G minor, E flat, doesn't sound nice. Really opens it up, and then of course you're going to have your B flat. Okay, and B flat, you know about your B flat. We don't ever have to like it, but we come to accept it as part of our lives, right? And that's it. There's 4 chords. That's it. That's all that's in the whole song, and it goes on and on and on. I'm 99% sure there are no other ones. I do want to tell you very briefly, there is another version of E flat that I use in this piece. So this is your main E flat. Okay, that's your open version index here, and then these two here comes right off of G minor just fine. But the E flat that is much more useful is a bar on 3 and a pinky on 6. Okay, we just don't use the 6. So this 3-3-3 is also an E flat ish, and it comes up. It turns out that that's actually a pretty darn handy thing to use for your E flat in several places on here, and you'll see that as we go through it. Amy is asking, apparently Garfunkel says that their version is hope for the future and the Disturbed version is failure of that hope. Oh, did Garfunkel actually respond to that? Oh, that's interesting. I would say probably that sounds about right. You know, Simon and Garfunkel were hopeful, and Disturbed is like, well, didn't work out, guys. That makes me really happy, actually. All right, so if you're a singer, you're all set, right? Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again because a vision softly creeping. Okay, so you're all set. You've got yourself a piece of music that is a singer. You're fine. You can go do your thing wherever you do it, and that's it. You only need those 4 chords, and it actually drops in terms of where your voice is probably pretty well. On a ukulele, of course, it goes way high, but you're going to sing it an octave below that, and it's going to be just fine. I don't think there's any real challenge to singing the song, and the chords are nice, and it's going to sound great on your ukulele and all that stuff. So I'm not going to sing it. Obviously, I don't sing Simon and Garfunkel because it would be a tragedy. So we don't do that. But get to know those 4 chords. Those 4 chords are going to come up in your life, not as much as some other chords, but in terms of having it, they just have a nice way about them on ukulele. And the only one that's going to be a bummer is your B flat, if your B flat is still there, and that will go away. So just know this song will ultimately become something that's quite playable for you. All right, let's talk melody. In the song, they often will have the intro is very short, and then this doodle 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 doo thing happens multiple times throughout it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they actually had one of their musicians play that almost through the entire piece. So this thing goes on and on and on. But as a soloist, we can't do that, right? So what we're going to be looking at is playing the 3-5-0-5-3-5-0-5. Okay, so when those come up, you think about the best fingering choices for you. Playing it in first position doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Because you're sort of spread apart there. But that would be our first thought. I probably would end up in index and ring finger on that. Okay, so that's going to come up a bunch. That little figure right there, 3-5-0-5, 3-5-0-5. It's going to come up a lot. Think about what you're going to be the most sensible fingering choices for you. And that turns up identical in the tough uke as well as the uke melody. So either way, I'd be thinking about. Okay, and then every single time that comes through, the next thing coming in is going to be a G minor. Okay, if you're playing tough axe, now all of a sudden, well, maybe that doesn't make sense to be doing it like this. Okay, because if I know I'm going to be ending on a G minor chord, maybe I am going to do ring and pinky, right? So it'd be strum 5-0-0-3 5-0-3 strum. Okay, so if you're playing the tough uke, you probably want to hold this, and then your pinky is going to be dealing with this 5, and then you got to lift both the index and pinky up to get the 0, and then putting it back down to get the 5 again. So that's if you're tough uke. If you're straight melody, this feels like an awful lot of work for something that's not really going to happen. And then in that case, I would go with something a little easier. Okay, so there's that. Another thing to pay attention to is many of your measures start with a rest. Okay, if you're singing or playing melody, you got to take that rest seriously. You got to be like, oh, I don't play anything here. I got to let nothing happen. I got to have faith that nothing is supposed to happen there. So in this case, if you're playing melody, rest. Long 4-beat measure there. Okay. So just pay attention. If there's a rest there, you really do need a rest or it won't sound right. Okay. Now, if you're playing tough uke, totally different story. You're going to be busy during those rests because you're setting the chord for the rest of the measure. Okay. So then in that case, you grab your G minor. Okay, and then another chord, go with your F chord, pinky on 3. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about. You'll be making your decisions. Sometimes you're going to be, if you're playing melody, really pay attention to those rests and how long notes are, because if you're playing straight melody, this song is actually fairly slow. If you're playing tough uke, you're going to be working your brains out, and so just know which version of the song you're working on. So let's do measures 1 through 5. Okay, we'll go nice and slow. Pick your poison. Am I on tough uke or am I on straight melody? And let's see what we come up with. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all we want to work on. Okay, once you get that pretty solid, that idea is going to repeat over and over in this piece. So I would say you could spend a long time on just this little intro section here, and it's going to work out kind of nice. Okay, hey Linda, welcome in. Okay, let's give it a try. Just those 5 measures again, and my timing was a little bit all over the place, as you could tell, and yours can be as well. Okay, so let's give it a try from the very top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we have a mess, right? Because we have to be in first position on measure 6 to get the 1s, and slide up to the 8s, and then you've got to be all the way up here. Okay, so you're going to have to get all the way up to 10. So you got a couple of choices here. So first thing, if you're playing melody, 1, 1, possibly slide up to 5 there. 5, 5, 8, 8, 10, 8. Okay, so maybe after the ones, if you're playing melody, 1, 1, 1, and then slide to 5 right now. 5, 5, ring on 8. Normally we would put a pinky on 8, but you're going to need your pinky for the 10. 8, 8, 10, 8. Okay, so that's one way to think about it. The other way to think about it is I'm going to play in first position and use my pinky on 5. 1, 1, 1, 5, 5, and then slide to the 8. 8, 8, 10, 8. I would say one or the other is going to be better for you. I would think probably that I would make a note that 5, play it with your index finger. I think it's going to go more smoothly for you. Don't necessarily know that's for sure, but think about it, that maybe, hey, an index finger right there is going to make the most sense. I'm making myself a note so that I can remind others to talk about that, right? So because of visions, and then ring finger, softly creeping, or in the way they really do it is, because of vision softly creeping. Okay, so that they pull that lee over into the next measure. We already talked about that. If you're playing tough uke, because of vision softly, there's your 8. Okay, says that bar on 10, 11, and 12. Okay, I don't know why I said 8. It's your 10. And then slide it back. And that's the key. Okay, let's practice just that part. So if you are working on tough uke, bar on 10, F shape in front. That's what you're going to work on. Okay, and when we talk about this, make sure that I'm not talking over your head. It's important that F shape is here, right? This is how we make it F, blah, 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 blah. Don't sit there being sad, right? Make sure you ask, what the heck is bar on 5 with an F shape mean? Here's your F shape, okay? But if we do it with these fingers, middle and ring instead, still the same chord, right? Still an F shape. And then my bar is hanging out here right behind the nut. So when I slide this up to 10, now I still have the bar on 10 and an F shape in front, okay? That's what you're happening at the beginning of 7. And then I'm going to take that same exact shape. I'm going to slide it back to 5, okay? 5, this is on 6, this is on 7. And then I have to add my pinky here on 8 to get the melody note, okay? And that's going to come up over and over into the song. So if you're a tough uke player, just know that's going to be your job, is to get this thing where it happens, okay? All right. And then at measure 8, more or less the same thing, right? Except you're on a B flat chord. So instead of grabbing this G minor chord at measure 6, we're now going to grab the B flat chord, and you don't have to get the bottom one down. You just have to get 1, 2, and 3 on here. And then you have to roll this down. A bar on 10. Slide it back to 5, add the pinky. And then you're going to slide from there back to your normal B flat at measure 10. Okay, and then we go into the next idea. So now I'd like to play from measure 5 through into measure 10. Okay, so start at measure 5. We're going to start on this G minor chord. We're spending a lot of time on page 1, guys, on purpose, okay? Because once we master page 1 through 1.5, the whole song is the same thing over and over and over again, with just a little bit of change in the melody as we go along. And so if we can get these first 2 pages conquered, we are conquered for the whole song, okay? So play with me from measure 5, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Because of vision softly creeping. Grab your B flat. Left its roots while I was sleeping. Jump down, then jump down to your B flat at the bottom. 2, 1, and okay, let's try it one more time. Hopefully I can get some cleaner notes out of it. Okay. from measure 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 2. Strum. 1, 1, 1, 5, 5, 8, 8. Bar, bar, bar. 1, 1, 5, 5, 8, 8. Bar, bar, bar. 2, 1. Dun, dum. Okay, and then on we go. Let's do it one last time. I think if you think about bar, 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 then you got some hope. Okay, and those of you who aren't into bars, which you have to be into bars if you're going to be an instrumental ukulele player. I know. It's the only disappointing thing I have to tell you in ukulele, right? If you're going to play this instrumentally, you got to play bars. Okay, that's the saddest news in ukulele. Everything else is awesome. All right, from measure 5, one more time. And again, if you're just playing melody, just be patient. Make sure you're paying attention to those rests. However you want to finger it, but just play along. Okay, pretend you're working as hard as everybody else. 1 from measure 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That. Now I got first half was fairly clean, second half was a mess, right? I'm not losing sleep over that. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. So I'm going to get it. I've got to repeat that same idea 50 times through the song. I will end up a year from now being able to nail it perfectly. But in the meantime, clunk, 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 and I'm going to move on. I cannot lose sleep over it. I got other bad chords coming down the way that I'm going to mess up as well. So I got to get through those. Don't lose sleep. If you hit a clunker, you hit a clunker. That's what you meant to do, and on you go. The more time you spend with the song, obviously, the less and less those clunks are going to come in. All right, let's finish up the main idea here. Let's go to measure 10. Okay, you're on this B flat, probably a full bar. 2, 1. Now we have a whole new idea here, and you probably just want to slide that bar up to 3. Vision. Okay, and that's extra. That little extra bar there is just stuff. It's not necessary to hit it. You've got a great big long 3 note there. It just felt kind of lonely by itself. Vision. Yeah. And pay attention. Those of you guys who are playing melody, it's an eighth note connected to a quarter note, connected to another quarter note. That's 2.5 beats. That 3, bong. Be patient. Let that thing happen all the way before you hit. That was okay. So if you're tough uke, and then hit those 2 3s. That was regular E flat open, planted open note in my, and then go on to page 2. I will be patient while my little thingamajig wakes up. There it is. And then you go right back to your B flat. Brain 2, 1, still remain 2, 3, 2, G minor. Within the, and don't rush those either. Measure 15, those are all quarter notes. Within the, and then you got the Renee chord, bar on 5, pinky on 8, sound 5, 5 of G minor, silence. Okay, and now I should talk about this. In the song, as well as in real life and in all of this, if you're playing the melody, you're done. Silence. Let that ride through the whole measure, and then you pick up again at measure 18. If you're on tough uke, you got to get our doodly doos in. Okay. Silence. Oh, silence. Oh, 5, 3. I got to hit the right notes. Let me do it again. Silence. Oh, 5, 3, 5. Oh, 5. And the reason you don't have it feels a little bit weird there is that in the band, they've already started that arpeggio pattern at measure 17 while the singers are finishing up silence. So the arpeggio player there in the background, whoever he is, no, I don't even know. They have a guy, right? And his job is he's already started that arpeggio pattern at the beginning of measure 17. But you, as the soloist, you have to finish the lyric line. So you'll start silence, bum bum ba da dum bum. Okay, so just know you're walking into that in the middle of the arpeggio pattern that's already going. That's why you have to be brave, you have to be strong, you have to be powerful. Okay, and so that's going to take a little practice to get where your hands are cooperating there as well, because it sounds wrong when the first note you hit is this open note. That seems wrong. But that's because the arpeggio player has already been playing notes that you have been busy dealing with Paul and Art on helping them get their job finished. As a soloist, you got a lot of work to do. You're going to be fine. You're fine. Okay. Now measure 18 and so on. It just repeats. Okay. What doesn't repeat is the exact number of syllables in each line. In restless dreams, I walked alone. Okay. So then that whole idea is going to repeat again. It goes down all the way until it measure. Let me get on to the next page. Go to page 3. So 18 will end up there at 33. Okay, so 18 through 33 is essentially the same thing we've already played in 1 through 17. Okay, starts all over again on 34, goes through, where's the next silence, all the way to the bottom of the page 49, measure 49. Then it starts all over again at measure 50, goes down through whatever. Somewhere. And so it's going to be very repetitive. We'll play through it here. How much time we got? We got about 10 minutes. So we'll go ahead and play through it. No, we're going to make a ton of mistakes. We'll go slow. If anything jumps out at me as being different than what we've already done, we'll talk about it, but it's really not. It's going to be just more and more of the same. It's what's kind of fun about the song, and it's also what's a little tiny bit annoying about it, is that, hey, we are in a situation where we have learned one page, and now we can basically play the rest of the song, which kind of demystifies its incredible coolness about it. My foot pedal's not working. Hold on, let me make sure. Oh, then there's the problem. Let's go up and down. All right. Take our time. We'll go through it. We'll hop the stop a ton, and we'll see what comes up. If you walked in late, I had a I'm having a wonderful life. I teach ukulele, right? I'm having a wonderful life, but I got crazy with time last night and this morning, and nothing went the way I was hoping it to. So tonight I will post today's other song, which you do not have, called El Condor Pasa. It's lovely. It's not very long, and it's I think it sends the wrong message from a lyrical standpoint, but I get it. And it's got a really lovely melody. So I'll get that posted tonight. We'll play it tomorrow for International Kick Your Fanny Friday. And boy, we need it to be Friday, don't we? So we'll play that for tomorrow. And we may have to take a minute to just study it before we play it, but we'll do that. And so tomorrow we have your concert. Okay, so make sure you've got your Better Bar worksheet out there, the one where you just go up and down on the fretboard. We'll play the B flat arpeggio, which is not, there's no B flat in it. Okay, it's all just individual notes. I don't think there are any actual places where you have to make the full bar. You should make the full bar, but you don't have to. You can pick it out. And then we got Aloha Oi. That's our only Simon and Garfunkel song this week. It's the wrapping up of the intro. And then we got Bridge Over Troubled Water, Scarborough Fair, Feeling Groovy, Sound of Silence, and El Condor Pasa. So we have a really nice concert for tomorrow. So I will get that posted tonight. Stop by sometime later today, and the PDF will be turned on and you can play that. And then next week we've got classical music again, right? We've got Schumann, we got Waldteufel, and thank you to was it Lynn? Lynn, I think, found my typo, and yeah, it was Lynn. Lynn, thank you for finding my typos all the time. Lynn found a typo. I got that fixed, and so it's Waldteufel, Brahms, Schumann, and Strauss. And those of you who don't have a ton of music background, you should know those are sort of the giants in late later romantic writing, and we're supposed to think they're important. Okay, they're fine. They're lovely. These are amazing songs, and yeah, but you don't really have to, other than knowing, yep, those are names I think I've heard about from somebody. You don't really need to know that much more about them. As a ukulele player, you would never have played them probably, and of course we're going to play them because we do that stuff around here. And then we have a few other sort of level 2 type songs. After the Ball, Itsy Bitsy Spider, I've Been Working on the Railroad, and This Little Light of Mine. All of those are songs that I have taught forever, but I don't think I've ever finished up my notation on them, and so I'll get those cleaned up and up on the board as quickly as possible. So next week should be fun. A lot of you guys are going back to school next, or already going back to school, or you know people who are going back to school. Just let them know August 24th is we start everything fresh and clean. We scrub everything off and we just start over again. If you've got kids that are hanging out, kids or grandkids or nephews or nieces, or the kid down the street or whatever that is doing homeschooling, let them know so that we can get them involved in at least having an hour's worth of music every day in one way or another. Hopefully that helps them out, because it's going to be tough, guys. It's, they're going to open these schools up. Some of them are going to be fine. Most of them are probably going to end up going right back closed, but who knows? So we don't want to talk about that here. That's not our job, right? That's our job, is to play Sound of Silence. So all right, so that's what we got going on. And let's play Sound of Silence. Okay, from the top, nice and slow. It does work with the claw as well, you guys. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Measure 21, and then on to 22. Take a pause while you turn the page. Okay. From measure 31, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. 1, 2, ready, play. Oh, I'm sorry. It should be faster. Strum. Measure 52. Take a minute. Page 5. We're almost done. Okay. Page 68. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you get those 16th notes in there. Those are tough. That's it. Okay. So honestly, master that first page, page and a half, and then the whole song is just keeps rolling through just the same way. So you got a few skills that are really tough on that. And I do think as you play through it a few times and your fingers are like, okay, we're going to do it this way now, it'll come together for you. So it's one of the world classics, right? It's not supposed to be easy, and so and it's not. But I do think it's playable, and I do think it's going to sound just fine on your ukulele. So hopefully that makes sense with what's in your head about the song, and that it would be a piece that you'd want to put some time into. You know, you're not going to just sit down and play that. Recently, I did Hotel California with the guitar group, and I don't know how many weeks we spent on it. And it was still, by the end, you could play it, but it wasn't great. But you know, you're a soloist. You're up against all these other amazing, brilliant musicians who have backup bands and all this stuff. I mean, it's you right now. So get it close as you can. See what you can and can't do, and know that it is a nice piece of music and a nice arrangement, and it's going to work for you. So let's see. Questions, thoughts? Tuned in very late, but more relaxed and easier to play after your lunchtime. And also drink a margarita prior to playing ukulele, and everything goes so much better. Right, Diane? Not that Diane, the other Diane. All right, there you go. Yeah, Kat. Yeah, hopefully finish sweeping out your basement, Kat, and then are bailing out, right? They got a ton of rain down there in Texarkana. So, but yeah, just a nice piece of music. Really worked that first page and a half. Just work that section until it's starting to come together, and then the whole rest of the song is the same thing. So, hopefully it'll work for you. The Eagles ? Yeah, we played some. It was brutal. The Eagles have a whole separate mythology that you're supposed to buy into if you're a guitarist. So, yeah, beautiful. The key, the G minor, right? The G minor. I tried it in all the other keys. I don't like to have to go all the way to the 12th fret, but I also want to make sure that there's enough chord underneath the lowest note. And so fitting these songs that are really big onto ukulele takes a little bit of doing it. And unfortunately, with this song, we do end up going all the way to the 10th fret with a finger on 12. And so, but that way you get enough chord underneath when you're down at the lower notes that you can have a full arrangement. And so I do think it's the right key, and I do think it's really beautiful on ukulele. So hopefully you're enjoying it, and then you'll have a little fun. That one is challenging, but worth the time and effort. Yeah, and be thinking, as always, guys, we talk about it all the time. I'm going to keep throwing stuff at you. Here, play this, play this, play this. Find those ones that are like, hey, that has a little meaning for me. I like that song. You know, my dad listened to the Simon and Garfunkel on his hi-fi all the time, you know, so I grew up with that song. I'd like to be able to play it. I think it's nice. But if you are younger, and you didn't grow up with that, it's just one more song. Pick a different song that means something to you. And guys, those of you who are younger, I do not know music from the 90s and the 2000s. I just don't. I just was grown up at a job, and I wasn't paying attention. So you guys got to tell me the songs. They got to have a good melody. And then I'm delighted to put that stuff together. I was listening to Zombie by the Cranberries. I don't know anything about them, but I was just having a blast today listening to all this heavy metal, deep bodied rock stuff that was linking off of Disturbed. And so, let me know if you are younger and you have some songs that you grew up with and you're like, man, I would sure love to be able to put that on a ukulele. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. We'll try it. I can listen to them and let you know pretty quickly if we can put it together. And so don't be shy about asking for stuff. I'm always thinking about trying to find new ways to do music on ukulele. And I don't think hip hop fits on it, but I do think all the other stuff can. And so, obviously, if there's a song you want, just send me an email. I'll see if I can work it into the program, or at least add it to the list and get to it someday type thing. So, yeah. Lynn, for now, I'm glad we got to spend the whole time working on it. Yeah. And so El Condor Pasta, come back later tonight to check the website, and the PDF will be live, and we'll get it put up there. Great song, spend time on. Yeah, it's a fun time. All right, awesome. All right, Christy, thanks bunch. Good to see you, bud. I'm glad you made it in today. Patty, have a great day. Linda, let's see. I know Linda made short work of today. Nice job, guy. But I'll see you tomorrow. Glanny, mahalo to you, and we'll wrap it up. I'll hit the end of stream, and you guys are amazing. Keep coming around. I think you'll end up being shockingly good ukulele players, and we'll just keep at it. Thanks, Terry. Have a great week. Have a great night. I will see you tomorrow.